Hey everyone, welcome to the Boss Babes, and thank you so much for joining us here tonight. My name is Emmeline Anderson, and this is my beautiful co-host, Brittany Baldessari. So if you're first time tuning in, welcome. Again, thanks for joining us. What we do is we talk with local athletes, and we explore their lives outside of the game, and we take you behind the scenes of a ton of local charity events tonight. We actually have a really cool one coming up that we're excited to show you guys. So first things first, Britt, let's talk about your weekend, because you went to a really big event this weekend.
Yeah, so my weekend was pretty intense, actually. It was very heavily sports filled, which I love. So first thing that I went to was the Autism Awareness Summerfest, and we had big athletes there like Rob Gronkowski, a bunch of the Boston Bruins players, and it was all to support autism awareness, and there was a lot of great people performing on stage, so I enjoyed covering that, and you guys will be able to see that in a few weeks. I'll be playing that video on an upcoming Boss Babes episode. I also went to the football game, so I was at Gillette Stadium, and let me tell you guys, that stadium is electric. I knew that we were going to win. I mean, we're very spoiled, as we've talked about before. New England Patriots, you just know when they walk out on the stage, they just have this confidence, like, we got this guy. So they literally killed the Steelers. So the Steelers are obviously a really good NFL team. If they just dominated 33-3, what the heck does that say about the rest of the season? You guys need to watch out. So 33-3 was the final, and we got to watch banner number 6 drop. We're waiting for number 7 this upcoming year, and I don't want to jinx it, but let's be real, Emma. What do you think about the upcoming football season?
Well, I think we're in a really good position. Everyone has talked about the fact that we now have Antonio Brown, which is awesome. I know that some people were a little bit worried about that, just because obviously when you come to New England, we know that there's a really high standard that's set here. We know that we tend to behave in a certain way, and Belichick likes things said and done in a certain way.
And Antonio doesn't have the best behavior, but hopefully Belichick can straighten him out a bit.
But you know what? That's the thing, though, is the team is dynamic, and what we care about really is like, okay, can you play? And
exactly.
Yes, you know he's a great player, so I'm really excited personally to have him and just to see what he'll do this season. I know that I read there was one fan that was actually really upset that made a couple threats. Did you see that? This guy in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I actually saw a lot
Crazy.
of people in Massachusetts, which is interesting. So obviously Antonio Brown is a great player, but people are kind of freaked out about the fact that he kind of has a bad history with coaches. That's one of the reasons why he actually got released. He doesn't have the best behavior, I guess, playing sports. But not everybody is perfect. Everybody has their ins and their outs. I'm actually going to read a quick tweet. So he was actually begging the coaching staff to be let release. So I'm going to read his tweet from Antonio Brown himself. He says, "And that's fine. I've worked my whole life to prove that the system is blind to see talent like mine. Now that everyone sees it, they want me to conform to that same system that has failed me all those years. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just asking for freedom to prove them all wrong. Release me." And then he literally tagged the Raiders, and he said, "No more. They put blinders on horses for a reason." And then he said, "No more fake." So essentially, he was like, guys, just release me. I'm done with this team. And Bill Belichick, because obviously we're sort of short, Rob's not playing anymore, and Edelman gets injured. So with the receivers being down, he scooped him up really quickly. What do you think about Antonio Brown being on the Patriots?
I mean, like I said, he's a great player. So for me personally, I think that, yeah, clearly there was something going on there that, we're not going to understand. We're going to get the story that we're told. And, I know firsthand as a journalist that a lot of times the things that, you're told are kind of the filtered versions, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but you're going to get what people tell you. So I'm sure that there were a lot of things going on that we just, quite frankly, weren't told. But at the end of the day, he's a great player. And at the end of the day, I think he's going to be a great addition to our team. And right now, I mean, he's put us in a, knock on wood, like power place to start.
Exactly. I'm super excited to see him play. And I think it was almost like a power play on his perspective, for example, because he's getting older. And I don't know if he's ever won a championship. I don't think he has a Super Bowl ring. So I think to see him sort of say, hey, you know what, release me, guys. I think he knew that the Patriots were probably going to win another championship. So, you know what, I'm going to retire in the next year or two. Why not just take the easy route, get the heck off this team? I don't like the coaching staff, and I don't like playing here anymore. So why not get with the team that could potentially get me or Super Bowl ring. So
Hey.
I think that was smart on his part. So Antonio Brown, welcome to the New England Patriots. We're really excited.
We can't blame him for wanting to come to the best, am I right?
Exactly. We can't blame you. We're going to hop on over to Dave Dombrowski. So we're not going to talk too much about this because we have other stuff to talk about. But Dave Dombrowski just got let go, and apparently he got let go from the Red Sox because he wasn't filling the void for something to do with pitching. What do you think about Dave Dombrowski being let go?
I mean, I think that's a bold move. Normally they would wait until, we were talking about earlier, until the end of the season to make a move like that. So I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there. Obviously, there's something going on. Again, it's the same thing that is frustrating because we can speculate all we want to and try to make assumptions, but at the end of the day, it's a decision being made behind closed doors. But it was a very bold move to let him go, and I'm going to be surprised to see if there's any statement made from him or his team, just to kind of clear the air at all further than what we've already seen.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with that whole situation. But Dave, thank you for being with the Boston Red Sox and helping out for the last couple of years. We're going to hop on over. We're going to talk a little bit about A-Rod and J-Lo. You guys don't need an introduction for these two. A-Rod and J-Lo, they're gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. Check them out.
Look at that dress. Unbelievable.
Just look at that dress. We're not even going to talk about these
That's
two.
a two-piece. It's cute.
It's a two-piece. They're incredible. Obviously, he's a former baseball player. We already know who J-Lo is, so we don't need to talk about her. But the reason why I'm popping her up is because it's New York Fashion Week, and Emma, look at this photo. Could we just look at this? I don't even understand what's going on, but she has underwear on. We're going to switch to the next photo. Her thong is like popping out of her pants. Like, is that a fashion statement? I would never do that in a million years. Like, that is not fashion to me. That just looks trash. And don't get me wrong, this woman looks really, she could pull off wearing like an egg carton as a bra top, but like, there's no way you can get away with wearing your thong just hanging out like that. That is not a fashion statement.
So,
what do you think that's all about?
Okay, that's a very interesting thing because I know that I'm pretty sure, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure in the 90s this was a trend, right, to show it.
Really?
Yeah, and the 90s are kind of coming back around. So I have a feeling this was like a nod to the 90s, like, hey, I'm bringing this back. But also, I mean, girl, that is...
she's got a great stomach, don't get me wrong. The girl looks great in anything, and if it is a 90s trend that she's trying to bring back...
I mean, I can get
man.
wanting to bring back the trend, but by the same card, it's also like, okay, there are certain trends that you could bring back that are a little bit more classy than others. So this is surprising for me to see from her. I know she's always been bold, but that's an interesting one.
It's too much. Basically, if you're trying to bring back the 90s, as Emma is mentioning, stick to overalls and bandanas and chokers, which I love the 90s, don't get me wrong.
Chokers. Oh my gosh. They were so cute, right?
Choker
Everybody
necklaces
has
all the
same
way.
one.
Just ditch the thongs. We don't want to see your thongs, ladies. And before we skip to the next photo, it was your birthday this weekend. What did you do this weekend? Emma just turned the big 3-0. She is 30. She doesn't look it, of course. She looks 16. Thank God.
Can I just tell you, I had the best experience. So the morning of my birthday, I'm walking out, got the dog, bringing her to doggy daycare. I've got like, my cute little dress on, and I'm like, okay, I'm really dressing up today because this is like a hard turn for me. So I walk out the door, and I'm headed to my car, and I'm all stressed, and I'm running late, and some woman just looks at me, she goes, ugh, you look like a magazine cover. And I was like, thank you so much. It was the sweetest thing that like anyone had said to me, and she just said it in such like a
nonchalant way.
Yeah, and I was like, wow.
She could have been like low-key hitting on you or something.
I mean, she lives in my complex, so I hope not. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen my fiance, which like 1 week, guys, crazy.
She's getting married
1 more week.
next weekend.
It's getting kind of nuts. But yeah, so my family and friends actually did the sweetest thing in the world for me. They all, I guess, I've been planning for months, and they surprised me at 1620 Winery, which is one of my favorite places to go. So we went out for like a nice little, dinner and drinks, and so that was really, really cool. And then on Saturday, I wound up going out with a friend of mine, and we went to Encore. Of course, I love Encore, so it was a really, really fun time. Wound up coming in around like 5:30.
Her fiance got a little bit mad.
Yeah, but
30. We're 30 going on 21, guys. Don't worry about it.
But you know what though? 30 is a big year, and I know if we plan to like settle down, buy a house, have kids, like you gotta kind of have fun while you can.
You gotta have fun.
right?
I totally get it. I'm 30 as well, but I'm 18 mindset, so I feel you. I love you. Happy birthday. Thank you. I'm so excited that you're back.
Thank you.
And,
Also,
thanks for joining us after that crazy weekend.
Thanks. Also, happy birthday to Caitlin Richards. Said her son just turned 8 this weekend. So happy birthday to your son. That is awesome.
Very cute. We're going to switch back into sports. The next photo, I don't know. I don't remember which one it is, but Mike, can you please pull it up? Okay, so Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas is incredible. And he actually won a Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins. Obviously, he's the goaltender. Back in 2011, he played with Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin actually now plays for the Dallas Stars. Love Tyler Seguin. He's actually a good friend of mine. So, Tyler, if you're watching tonight, what's up? But the reason why we're bringing up Tim Thomas is because last week we found out that he's actually going to be inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame this upcoming winter. So I think that's happening in December. So congratulations. So the reason why I say U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame is because there's actually a Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame as well. So I want to make distinguish that it's the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Tim Thomas for making the Hockey Hall of Fame in the U.S. Last but not least, we're going to talk a little bit about Charlie McAvoy. So I don't know what's going on with Charlie McAvoy. I mean, I love the kid. He's been playing great for the Boston Bruins the last couple of years. Very young, great talent, up and coming. There's a big thing going on right now where there's a salary cap for the Boston Bruins, and they haven't signed him yet. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, what the heck is going on, dude? Like, this kid's incredible. He does a lot for the community. I actually just recently saw him at the Autism Awareness event, and he was just at the Hold the Line event that you and I covered, which we're going to talk about later. But Boston Bruins, sign Charlie McAvoy. Get rid of somebody else. I don't know what you need to do, but free up some cap space because we want Charlie McAvoy to stay. What do you think? And he's a local. He's from the Boston area, I believe. Is he?
Yeah, no, he is.
He's from the Northeast.
Yeah, so Charlie McAvoy is, from right around here, and he's an awesome, awesome guy. I think he's a strong player, but again, like, this is one of those things, too, where we don't know, like, what's happening behind the scenes. We don't know why this decision is being made, so if anybody out there, I know I have a lot of you guys watching tonight, thank you so much. We can say every single one of you as you tune in, thank you for that. If anybody has any questions or input or thoughts on it, we're happy to hear it. Again, we are going to be showing Charlie McAvoy a little bit later as well with our interview with him. But yeah, we have a really stacked night tonight, man. We have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. I'm sorry, guys. Tonight's crazy stacked sports night, which obviously it's a sports show, but we're going to switch on over. Right? That's what you guys are here for. So our special guest, we're about to roll his tape really quickly. It's actually a hockey highlight from him in college. His name is Chris Moquin. He's from New Hampshire. I'm super excited. He's a pro hockey player now. We're going to get right into his tape and just start up that interview. Let's rock it. So I'll kick it off and I'll start talking. You can run. Alrighty, Chris. Well, welcome. I'm so excited for you to be in studio with us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Literally, he's fresh off of the airplane. He literally just got off the airplane 2 days ago. He is a pro hockey player right now, which we're going to get into in a quick second. So he literally graduated college and jumped on an airplane, packed all of his stuff, got a one-way ticket, and he's been playing in Sydney, Australia basically all summer. The cool thing about ice hockey there is that the seasons are flipped. So he was able to play ice hockey in the off-season here, of course, because this is the off-season here in America. So he dominated out in Australia. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about the fact that you actually grew up in Hooksett, New Hampshire. You played a ton of sports growing up. You loved hockey and golf, which I know you were golfing earlier because you and I were texting each other. And you actually won a state championship as a sophomore in high school at Trinity. Talk to me about your early stages of playing hockey and your family life.
Yeah. Well, before we get started in general, I just got to point out to everybody watching that my internal clock right now it's in shambles. It's all over the place. So if I fumble over my words a little bit, I'll just lean on that excuse for now.
I mean, hey, you look great. Whatever.
Oh, appreciate it.
You look good.
Thank
so
you.
just stay there.
Thank you.
You're eye candy for the night.
Yeah. Oh, great. But yeah, you mentioned it. I grew up in southern New Hampshire and lived there my entire life. And went to a little private Catholic school. I was never the most religious person growing up, but went to this private school and found my love for God a little bit. But no,
There you go.
Yeah, it was actually a funny thing when I never really got into any trouble in high school, but like I used to just do little things, and if my punishment was always they used to make me be the altar boy at like the school masses.
That's
And
interesting.
I would just basically go up there, embarrass myself, and kind of learn my lesson. And not.
So what were some of the bad things that you did to be the altar boy? Can you tell us? I mean, they don't have to be too bad. Like, don't put yourself too much on the spot.
The worst thing I probably ever did was in French class, me and my buddy were kind of screwing around, and I took one of those big zip ties, and this kid in front of me was wearing like khakis, and I secretly put the zip tie through his belt loop and zip tied him to the chair.
That's actually
It was
hilarious.
kind of harmless. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny. Like nobody got hurt.
I want video footage of that. I thought you were gonna say that you zip tied his feet together so he got up and kind of like fell on the ground.
No, yeah, I put my own little spin on it.
I've seen stories like that. As long as he didn't get hurt, like it's fun in games until somebody gets hurt. But that's cute.
Right. So that was my high school career. Zip tied a kid to his chair and won a state championship.
All right.
And yeah, I played junior hockey for the Junior Monarchs growing up, which is another like nationally recognized program, kind of bridging the gap between high school and college. So I did that. Ended up originally going to St. Anselm College, also in Manchester, New Hampshire, and then only there for a semester. Transferred over to SNU, which is where
Southern New Hampshire.
Yep.
If you guys don't know what
Southern
that is.
New Hampshire, yep. And so that was my home for the rest of my college career. I ended up, I graduated there with an undergrad degree in business administration. Ended up having another year of eligibility, so I stayed, got my master's degree at Southern New Hampshire as well.
So good looking, athletic, and smart. You're like the trio, like the Holy Trinity. But the Holy Trinity over here.
There you go. It all comes full circle.
Full circle. Here we are.
Yeah. So then my last year at Southern New Hampshire won a NE10 championship there. Felt so good. I worked really hard for that my whole career, and finally got that done. So that was good. We had an unbelievable group of guys, and we really deserved that. Fast forward a little bit to kind of where I am now. Like you mentioned,
Well, we don't want to get right into the Sydney stuff yet.
Not yet.
Well, because I want to talk a little bit about you growing up.
Oh, growing up,
in
yeah.
New Hampshire, but
Sure.
So back to Southern New Hampshire. So I know that you were a captain. So other than the fact that you're a great athlete and obviously awesome academically, you were a captain for 2 years, correct?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your skills being a leader on the ice and off the ice.
Yeah, so I mean, I owe kind of all the credit to the other guys that were in the locker room. Like, you can only be so good of a leader, but it all depends on kind of the other guys you have around. They were such a good group to work with, and just unbelievable teammates. And we had kind of dealt with a little adversity as a group, but we were all on the same page, so it was never really. It wasn't bending over backwards with these guys. Everybody was like real cooperative, and one part that I've always built into my leadership is kind of having an even communication field. So just because I have a letter on my jersey doesn't mean we're not going to listen to what somebody else is saying. It was kind of like,
I like that. So you were very humble about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of everybody has their own strengths, and we were all leaders, we were all captains in some sort of way, so that was good.
Emma, do you have anybody asking some awesome questions? We're going to let Emma ask a couple questions because I do notice that. Thank you guys so much. I see all of you guys asking great questions. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with it too. I get talking and people are popping up with their messages.
Emma does a really good job. So we're going to have Emma ask a couple quick questions to you, and then we're going to jump into you growing up in New Hampshire. What sparked your interest in hockey? But Emma, take it away.
So first things first, obviously being from the New Hampshire area, one thing that we always like to talk about, and maybe this is just because I'm always hungry because I'm on a wedding diet, but what are some great places to eat in New Hampshire? What was the one spot that your parents always took you to growing up?
There's one place probably going to be pretty recognized by people watching right now. Went there immediately when I landed. It's called the Puritan Back Room. It's got world famous chicken fingers.
First place you went when you landed here from Sydney.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I mean, my parents go there 3 days a week. My grandparents go there 3 days a week. It's like, we're probably
What do you guys
top
order there?
customers.
Why is this place so great? Like, what the heck do you order? If I was going to go there, what would I be ordering?
You got to get the chicken fingers, 100%. And
Chicken
anybody,
fingers.
All right.
Such a college boy.
yeah, let's get it going in the chat here. Like, you can probably attest to this, all these people.
You can't mess up chicken fingers. But, like, what is another good signature dish there besides chicken fingers? Or do you only get chicken fingers?
That is like they're world famous. Like,
Okay, so
chicken
that's it.
fingers, so
That's it then.
That's it. I've had them since I was like, this big. So
Okay.
at this point, I don't really order them anymore. Somebody at the table usually does, so you usually pick it like one or two of those. But
So they don't mess around with their chicken fingers then?
yeah, no,
Good to know.
I'm like, we'll probably get into it a little bit, but I eat like a legitimate like 6-year-old. I am the pickiest eater around. I've never had I accidentally had one bite of like fish in my life. Other than that, I've never had any seafood
How
or
is it
anything.
an accident?
I
What's the story?
had a couple drinks, and one of my friends kind of like, he knew I'd never had fish before, and he gave me like a fish taco to eat. Immediately, I didn't swallow it immediately. It came up at the restaurant. Yeah, I was at a Margaritas in Manchester.
I wonder if you have like an allergy to it. Because
I don't
know
think so. I think it's just
You just don't like the
just
texture?
disgusted by it.
Well, I wonder, because when I was on the phone with you earlier and I said, hey, go get some sushi, you should have been like, Britt, I don't even like sushi.
Oh yeah, I was like cringing hearing you say that.
that's why
Sorry.
And yeah, you
That's
kept
funny.
pushing. You're like, yeah, go
Go get
to the
some sushi, go get a drink.
It's like, no, I'll be at the. But I ended up at that raw bar, which smelled like fish. So
So you dipped out real quick.
quick in and out. Yeah.
So I like that you said that, because when I was a little girl, my mom used to tell me that everything was chicken. So she gave me fish
yeah.
once, hated fish. So every night I'd be like, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? And she'd always just be like, chicken.
Oh,
And
yeah,
sure
no,
enough,
it-
like one night it was fish. I was like, I like this chicken. What is this kind of chicken? And it was like some different type of like fish. And then she waited till I was done. And she was like, oh, by the way, that wasn't chicken.
Oh, I
That
would have
was
ran away
fish."
from home.
I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even tell you what I did, but I remember my mind was just like blown. Like she got me good. She knew what to say too to make
Yeah.
it so that I would like actually eat my dinner and not complain. And she's like, funny, you didn't say anything about it while you were eating it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Sometimes
all right,
I
she
feel like,
got me.
I feel like sometimes you have to lie a little bit to get your kids to eat stuff. I actually made a funny post on my Facebook the other day saying something like, if you're gonna, like the people that take the vegetables and they deep fry them and put like tons of sauce and they pretend like it's chicken.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if you're gonna take broccoli or zucchini and like deep fry it and throw all the sauce on it, unless you're a vegan,
Right.
like, why are you doing that? It doesn't make it any more healthy.
No,
at that
yeah,
point, you
it's
might
not
as well
even
just eat
vegetables
like
at that point.
you might as well just eat chicken at that point.
Yeah.
But really quickly, thank you guys so much, Chelsea. I see that you're watching. Antonio D'Agostino, who's a good friend of ours, he actually works a lot with the Boston Bruins Foundation. Thank you for watching. He actually sent me a lot of behind-the-scenes photos today. He was with the Ray Bork Foundation. They did a big golf tournament with a bunch of the ice hockey players from the Boston Bruins. Before we cut to a commercial break, I just want to talk really quickly a little bit about behind the scenes. What was it like growing up in New Hampshire with your mom and dad? Like, who pushed you into ice hockey? Why did you get started? And who were some of your inspirations? Like, did you look up to Ray Bork? Did you look up to Bobby Orr? Did you look up to Sidney Crosby, who's one of my favorite ice hockey players currently? Did you look up to PK Subban? So basically, who was your inspiration? Who got you into playing hockey? And what was it like growing up in your family in New Hampshire?
Yeah, so my dad actually never played organized hockey growing up. He repeats this story over and over about his mom never let him play hockey, and he was such a big hockey fan that he used to cut down her broomsticks and make hockey sticks. And he grew up with two brothers, so they used to play a lot of like street hockey and everything. So when I was born, I was like just immediately put on skates and was lucky enough for my parents to give me that opportunity to play so young. And but yeah, I specifically remember being like 4 or 5 years old, getting on the ice for the first time with kids a lot older than me, and I absolutely hated it.
Yeah,
Like,
sink or swim.
Oh,
right?
and I was like, I could barely stand up compared to these other kids, and and I didn't want to be there. And my uncle brought me to a practice one time, and all the kids were doing like these drills and stuff, and my uncle told me just go do what you want. So here's like some little rugrat like doing his own thing on the ice while everyone else is like working on their skills, and I was just probably going back and forth trying to trying to stand up on my own.
But honestly, that's the best way to do it, is to play. I know my daddy's probably watching. He always watches. The best way to improve your skills is to play with people better than yourself, as you know.
Right.
So I remember when I played, I was a really good softball player. I actually almost played in college, but I got into modeling and TV, of course. Here we are now. But I remember my dad would always make me play with people older than myself. He would literally, I would be 12 years old playing with 16 or 17 year olds. And I enjoy that because it made the competition higher. So it made me want to play better. So I appreciate your parents wanting you to making you play with people that were a little bit older to get you more motivated and to work on your skills.
Yeah, no, it definitely paid off in the end.
Yeah, here we are. We're gonna cut to a little bit of a commercial break, guys. But when we get back, we're gonna talk all about the charity event that we covered, and we're gonna talk about your pro hockey career.
Yeah, I want to talk about in Australia, like, I want to know. I've heard all these rumors about like giant weird animals. I want to talk about. I know I'm such a weirdo, guys. I know. I'm so sorry, but I just have to know if there are like giant spiders there or what the deal is. So we're gonna talk about all of these different things in Australia coming up after the break. Stay tuned.
At Bad Martha, we believe in 3 things: great beer, getting bad, and doing good. Every sip of our premium craft beer is a reminder that there's a paradise out there where you can kick off. At Bad Martha, we believe in 3 things: great beer, getting bad, and doing good. Every sip of our premium craft beer is a reminder that there's a paradise out there where you can kick off your boat shoes, let your hair down, and leave it all behind. That paradise is Martha's Vineyard. And while there's a bit of bad in every drop of beer we brew, there's also a whole lot of good that comes with every bottle we sell. That's because Bad Martha is built on a simple idea: community first. We're proud of our beer, but we're even more proud of the island that inspired it. We hope you enjoy both just as much as we do, and look forward to continuing the tradition in Falmouth at our new location opening summer of 2019. Bad Martha. Get bad, do good.
Herd Restaurant, conveniently located here in Metro Square, features locally sourced, delicious meals created by a multi-talented chef. Herd satisfies even the most discerning palate. We love to welcome you to come to Herd so you may eat, drink, and spend time together. Watch for specials on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds at Herd on Main, and come visit soon.
Today. Good. I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Actually, quick update on Bad Martha, one of our sponsors. So they did open their Falmouth location this weekend, which was amazing. It was a really hectic day. Lines out the door from the time they opened at noon until literally 15 minutes before close, and that was probably only because of last call. So really crazy weekend. I know they were, stacked for the whole weekend from the opening. So we will have an updated commercial for you guys soon, but Bad Martha in Falmouth is officially open, which is awesome. So feel free to come and check it out. Who knows, maybe one day Britt and I will take a trip down there and have some fun and show you guys what it's like.
I know. I can't wait to go visit. And actually, Chris, when you come back with your hockey team, bring them down. We'll pregame there and go out
Yes.
and at
Let's
the
do
Cape.
it.
Yeah.
I got a fun group. We'd have a good time.
We're gonna have a
We
good
love that.
time.
A lot of them are around the Cape too, so
So that
awesome.
works out perfect.
yeah, we'll scoot right over to you guys.
I love that.
Love it.
Well, so you've been playing hockey since you were 5 years old. I know that, and you've always lived at home. So a big thing with you is I know that you wanted to move away and try something different. You have that master's degree, you have your degree, but you're like, you know what, dude, I'm not ready for the real world, so I want to use my skills. I feel you. Like, look at our career. You like to work hard, play hard, have a good time. So what did you do? You literally packed your stuff, got the call from Sydney, and you started your pro career. For the last 3 or 4 months, you've been living out in Australia. I want to hear all about that.
Yeah, so the opportunity just came up like real quick. So what I did was I told my mom, hey, Ma, I want to go play hockey in Australia. And so she's obviously kind of blown away by that. Like, what are you talking about? Absolutely not, kind of thing. or I need to hear more. And when do they want you to go? And I'm like 3 or 4 days to jump on a flight. And I was just living in an apartment, had so much stuff over there, and packed it all up, moved out of there, and was on 22 hours worth of flights to Sydney, Australia pretty soon after that. So I got over there and knew it was going to be different, but not too different.
Because they speak
They
English
speak
there,
English,
correct?
yeah. I mean, well, so I have to drive on the other side of the road, though. So
That's
they drive on the
interesting.
left side of the road, steering wheel's on the right, blinkers on the other side too. So like all the way up until a couple days ago when I was still driving there, I just out of reaction I go to do the blinker and it's the windshield wipers. And you know when the windshield wipers go and it's dry and it just makes that like nail on a chalkboard
like,
sign. Yeah, it was a wake up call every time. So
So it's a little bit of a culture shock, but that's understandable. It's your
Right,
first time
right.
there. And you played for a team called the Sydney Bears.
Yep.
And you guys actually, I want to know all about your championship. So you just won, is it called the Goodall Cup? How do you
Goodall-
pronounce that?
Goodall Cup,
So
yeah.
the Goodall Cup. I want to know all about your experience winning another championship because, again, you literally won something in high school, something in college.
yeah.
Now it's your first pro team. I want to know,
like the lucky charm?
you're like the lucky charm.
Oh, win it.
Like Boston
Some people
Bruins.
just win.
If you guys don't sign Charlie McAvoy, here we go.
Yeah, I'll jump back on D and fill that role for him.
Here we
for
go.
sure.
You guys can have Chris, and he's another local player. But yeah, so I want to know all about your experience playing in Sydney, Australia, winning that championship, and what was it like getting your first pro goal? Because I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
even like for the Boston Bruins, they'll get like a hockey tape around it and it'll say first
Yeah.
pro goal. Did you save the puck? Because if you didn't, shame on you. Everybody has to save their first puck.
Yeah, no, I did get that puck. That was nice. I
Hell
actually
yeah!
I came home with another puck too on my first pro hat trick. But,
Nice. Brush the shoulders off.
yeah, no, but yeah. So that was really good. It took me like a few games to kind of get going and get adjusted to the speed, and was playing like a lot of minutes when I was playing. So getting that first goal was definitely like a load off my shoulders. Felt good.
All right.
And
Kids on your team, I'll have Emma ask the next question. Sorry, I get like heavy into the sports questions.
that's all right. Just let them fly.
Everybody from your team, are they people from Australia or are they people from all around the world?
So we had like 6. So they call the foreign players, they're called imports. I might use that term a few more times. But we had a few other imports. So I had like one of my roommates is from Switzerland. I had 2 Canadians. We had guys from Czech and New Zealand. So they're kind of from everywhere. Majority of the team were Aussies. And it was cool just kind of seeing how they play the game. Like, it's so different than how we play in North America.
Oh, wow, really?
And just so that was really cool having that like diversity. And then obviously you bring these people from all over the world together.
It's like a melting pot of sports and hockey.
and come together and win a championship, like, it's real special.
I want to give a shout out right now. I'm looking at the comments, and then Emma's going to ask a quick question. So Andrew, sorry if I butcher your last name, but Andrew Whitten is watching, and he says, I loved watching Chris down under. He was a great player to watch and to have around. So I don't know if he lived there, if he was on your team or not, but shout out to Andrew for loving watching you play
Yeah, there's a
in
lot of
Australia.
there's a lot of Bears fans in this right now watching.
Well, thank you guys
And,
for
I mean,
watching.
It's
thank you
you know
guys.
you know the time difference there right now. It's like what 6 a.m.
Oh my
6:30.
gosh.
It is.
You
Him and
guys
I-
are really
So, like,
dedicated.
You guys
Thank
are dedicated. I know. Chris and I
That's
would be
nuts.
messaging each other, and he'd be like, "Britt, I have to go to bed. It's like 2 a.m. here," and it'd be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon
Oh yeah,
for
you're
us.
eating lunch. Yeah, it's
I'd
crazy.
be eating lunch, and he'd be like going to bed. Emma has a couple quick questions, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna cut to our charity event.
Yes. So we have some questions from the audience, but I have to ask mine first. I'm so sorry, but I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
curious about this. Animals in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
All I hear is these crazy things about like koala bears showing up to your house and giant like 6-foot spiders. What is the deal with the animals over there? Because I
6-foot
need-
spiders.
I
Yeah,
heard
6-foot
crazy
spiders
stories.
would have been running.
All right,
running away from them.
tell me like the real story. Did you have any crazy animal encounters?
I actually only saw. I heard the same thing, and I only saw one spider when I was there, but
Did you
everybody
pet any
else.
koala bears?
No. So I didn't really go. I didn't go to a zoo. I saw koalas. I saw
Kangaroos.
kangaroos, kind of from a distance. But some of my friends did go to like petting zoos, and you could hang out with
I wanna pet a
koalas, things like
koala.
that. Yeah, it probably would have been good. I did a few more like other touristy things, the Opera House and the Harbor Bridge over there. So
So
did
but
some good
how-
sightseeing.
How big was the spider though? Like was it? Are they really like?
It was pretty big, actually. I took a picture of it. I don't have any.
Show it
more,
up
but
on the
was
screen.
probably it was probably like that big.
It's basically, if you
That's
guys
a big
can't
note.
see it, it's like the size of an
And-
Olympic gold medal.
Yeah,
Pretty big, dude. That's a pretty big spider.
yeah. And
I'd be
I
burning my
saw it-
apartment down.
I saw it in the bathroom,
That's all you can
and I
do.
took a picture to send everyone. Like, oh my god, like look at this thing. And I just put my phone down, and the spider was gone. I couldn't find it.
Nope.
What if
That
it
was
ended,
with like a week to go though.
what
so
if it
I-
ended up in like your hockey bag? Like, imagine you put your helmet on, and you're like, dude, there's like a
it's in my-
tarantula
it's
in
in
your
my
helmet.
skate. Yeah.
What the hell would? I have a funny story about
Nope.
that before we cut to.
Nope.
All right, so you guys know, some of you guys watching are fans of MTV's The Challenge. So I competed on season 26 of The Challenge, and my season happened to be in Panama. And I had to every morning check my sneakers because in Panama they had scorpions, and a lot of us would get like stung at night. So every morning, this made me think of it, I would have to check my sneakers and bang them out to make sure there's no scorpions in my sneakers.
Were there ever in there?
I never had any, but John A, if you're watching, my friend John A used to get them in her pillowcase, how I don't know, all the time, and she would get stung at night. She never got sick because they were like small ones. But yeah, good thing that
That's crazy,
you kept
yeah.
an eye on the big
I'm all
spiders.
set with that. Yeah.
That's creepy.
Could they not like have pest control come in? Is there nothing you could do about pest control? I don't understand.
It's probably all part of the show, right?
Either way, though, I still
That'd
want
be part of the contract.
I would
no,
love-
ma'am. I need pest control.
I would love to visit Australia. I know that you're not a big fish person, but I would love to go there and check out the Opera House. It looks gorgeous, and I would love to just spend like 2 weeks just scuba diving because I love the ocean. I literally
Yeah.
love the ocean, and I would love to talk about this more. We're gonna have to have you come back in when you come back in December for Christmas if you're around. But we're gonna actually cut to.
Can we get one more question in?
All right,
Sorry,
one
we
more
have
question.
One more question.
Sorry,
from
guys.
Yeah.
Steven, I might be saying it wrong. Sorry, Steven. Steven Lavassier.
Yeah.
Is that
Lav.
right?
Pass the
Call Lav.
Cavassier.
Wow.
He says, Chris, I would love to hear about your go-to move at Match Vegas. What is he talking about? Because I'm so curious now.
Yeah, and I see a few people kind of.
Can you do it? You have to do it for us.
Oh,
You
it's
can't
not.
say
No,
it.
it's not a dance move. My mom doesn't like when she doesn't like when I do this, but
Oh no, Mom, are
I'll-
you watching?
Sorry,
I
Mom.
don't.
Put the blinders on, Mom.
I don't usually like to like pump my own tires and kind of like brag, but I will for this. But yeah, there's a mechanical bull at this bar in Manchester that I've been going to for forever, and hands down the best to ever do it there.
All right, there we go. So
And
that's the
it's
secret.
kind of a known thing. So,
So we're
yeah,
gonna have to
it's-
go watch you ride a mechanical bull then.
See, why was this not in your
Yeah.
reel?
It probably could have been.
That needs to
It
be cut
probably
into your
should.
There's
highlight
enough
reel.
videos of it
probably
out
should
there,
be.
but yeah.
All right, so if anyone has a video of this, please send it to us because we would love to post this.
We'd love to post this on social media for behind the scenes.
Yeah, please send it to us if you
Yeah.
have it. I don't know if you have it. Let me see. Yeah, Steven, Chucky Slick says he knows something about it. So
Chucky Slick, send
yeah,
us
so
the
Chucky,
deets
Steven,
now.
send us those videos, please. We'd
DM
love to see
me,
that.
DM me and Emma. We want to see this video.
But for now, really quick, we are going to pivot slightly to another hockey charity event that Brittany and I actually went to this week. And then when we get back, we are going to talk about your experience with doing charity work within outside of the game. So we're going to cut to that event really quick. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Well, the arena is packed here tonight in Braintree at the Thayers Ice Arena for the Hold the Line charity event featuring Weymouth Police and Fire facing off.
It is a star-studded lineup here tonight, guys. We're gonna go take you behind the scenes. Right now, we're gonna go hit the ice.
The Hold the Line hockey tournament stands behind our police, fire, and rescue workers that day in and day out show up to protect their local communities.
We started up the militia about 7 years ago. It was a game that, I've played my whole life, and guys like Charlie Coyle and such that were a couple years, younger than me were able to pick up the slack when I was too old to play. When Sergeant Chesna was killed, that was kind of a chance that we saw with all our relationships with the pros to be able to put something together and, rally the community. And we have people from all over the state, all over New England that come out for the officers. It's kind of a chance of a lifetime to skate with the NHL guys, and the NHL guys, never hesitate to come out and skate with these guys.
Who are these NHL guys exactly? On this year's lineup, local Charlestown native and Boston Bruins player Matt Grzelcyk was one of them.
I grew up, I was always around the Charlestown rink with, my friends. We had a kind of a small circle. We'd always play hockey together. And yeah, I think it's really important to, having grown up here and seeing how important it is for, us to kind of give back to the community, especially the younger kids who kind of look up to us.
Also on the night's roster was Charlie Coyle, another Boston Bruins player who just so happens to have attended Thayer Academy himself, where the Hold the Line fundraising game was held.
I went to Thayer Academy too, so that's it's nice to be in this new rink here. To put this on for law enforcement has been awesome, and just a little way to give back, but do it something that's entertaining and fun for the kids and everyone who comes out, even us. I mean, all the guys and the pro guys and the cops who come out and play. Everyone has a blast doing it, so it's such a cool thing. I think we underestimate what these people do every day, what they put on the line, their sacrifice for us, their families. It's, we owe them all the respect in the world.
Yet, whether you're a professional athlete, first responder on the ice, or just a spectator out to show your support, not a person in the room could forget why everyone was there in the first place.
Because I'm from the hometown of Officer Chesna, last year it really affected the community a lot. So just being able to give back a little bit, we're just skating, it's what we do, so it's not hard for us, but it means a lot, and we're glad that we can give our time and be here for it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And that event was so much fun. Of course, you guys know that we love ice hockey. We love sports. It was great catching up with local ice hockey players like Charlie McAvoy. We didn't get to interview him, but he was actually playing in the game. But I got to speak with Charlie Coyle, and we got to speak with Matt Grzelcyk. The first responders, that whole event was essentially to raise money for local first responders. And thank you to Nick Taziopoulos. He owns a ice hockey camp called Militia Ice Hockey, where he essentially gets to develop little kids' skills for ice hockey. So props to him. And Emma, what did you think about that whole hockey tournament? I think it was awesome. I loved the event. Like, there were so many people there. The crowd was almost as electric as Gillette Stadium.
It really was, which was nice to see. And the thing that I loved the most was watching the kids, their faces pressed up against the glass. It was so awesome. And I love the fact that it was just, like you said, very high energy, and it was very inspiring. And that's the thing that I think that people, again, like, this is why we do this. People don't see that, these players are always going behind the scenes. It doesn't matter, really, it doesn't matter when or where you ask them to. A lot of times, as long as they have the time to do it and the energy, they'll be there. And this was really nice. And especially it was something that hit home both for Grzelcyk and Coyle, because they are, from here. One's from Charlestown and then the other's from Weymouth. So, having Sergeant Chesna pass was something that was really, really difficult for them as a community. And they had a lot of close family and friends. So honestly, it made perfect sense for, as they said in the video, for them to come out and help to raise money for the family, because that's absolute hell for the entire community to have to go through something like that. So I think that both those guys did an amazing job. They had a ton of they had a star-studded lineup, like we were saying. It was really incredible.
It was a star-studded lineup. We're gonna actually post some behind the scenes stuff, because you guys saw them talking just about the charity portion of it, but I actually had like a 5-minute long conversation with Charlie Coyle, and I actually had some fun with him. Like, he told me about the fact that he likes to go to Canopy Lake Park, and again, he grew up in the area, how he likes to go to Friendly's Ice Cream.
I was going to say,
and how he calls them Jimmies and not Sprinkles. Like, if you're from Boston, let me know, guys. If you guys are watching, if you're from Boston, do you call them Jimmies or Sprinkles? Because we call them Jimmies.
I call them Sprinkles.
If you grew up in the area, they're definitely Jimmy's. But
I don't know. I like sprinkles.
He likes chocolate Jimmy's, but we will definitely post some behind the scenes footage from that event, some extra footage from those interviews. But we want to cut back to Chris because we're going to be running out of time shortly. I know the time goes by so fast. So I know, Chris, obviously you play pro hockey. You've done a lot of great stuff with the community as well. And like Emma mentioned, our show is all about getting candid, having fun with the people on our show, and showing you guys what you do behind the scenes. So I know that you've spent some time developing kids' skills and also working for something called Safe Sports. It's like a walk-in clinic for people that are injured. I want to know all about that right now. And if you guys have questions, we're on for like another 10-15 minutes. Feel free to ask Chris, and Emma will ask them for you.
Yeah, so one thing I've really taken a lot of pride in is working with little kids, helping them develop their skills, whether it's like learn to skate programs or learn to play hockey, maybe some kids that already know how to skate, running little kids camps and practices. It's just, it kind of gives you a chance. Like, I mean, hockey, just the sport has given me so much, like, traveling all over the world, going to Australia, like doing these cool things. It gives you a second to like give back to the game, if that makes any sense. And, there were people there, tying my skates when I was little and helping me out. So, you gotta give back in that sense. And
working with the Safe Sports Walking Clinic, what was your involvement with that?
Yeah, it was a project I had during my master's degree, and it's a free walk-in like injury treatment clinic with. They work with all different sports in southern New Hampshire, high school sports, and it just gives an opportunity for some of these kids where maybe they're coming out of families that don't have a lot of money. So it gives them an opportunity to get treatment at no cost. And so I did a lot of the business stuff behind the scenes with them, fundraising, because it's a nonprofit organization.
I think that's incredible that you did a lot of behind the scenes stuff since you've been a pro hockey player, and obviously while you were in high school and college. We have to wrap up really quickly.
Sure.
Emma's about to wrap it up in 2 seconds, but you literally just got off the airplane 2 or 3 days ago from Australia, and I know you're going to be going to Sweden for your next bout playing pro hockey. Really quickly, you have like 30 seconds to talk about going to Sweden, and then Emma's about to wrap it up with some positive pop. But you're amazing. Thank you so much for being here today.
Right, so I'll have to come back on with more stories after Sweden.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to a town I'll be dead honest, I can't even pronounce. So I don't want to. I think it's called a mall, but something. Whatever. I'm really excited.
And you leave
to do
like
that.
Wednesday nights. You literally leave in 2 days.
So
oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna get adjusted to this time zone here and have to jump into another one. That's why. I mean, and I'm gonna probably be even more pale than this coming back.
You're gonna have to send me some photos. I want to see how pale you get while you're out in Sweden.
Oh, I'll be see-through if I get any whiter.
You're gonna be like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
But congratulations and good luck out in Sweden. Emma's going to wrap it up with some positive pop.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so my positive pop for today is going to be one that I actually got from my very best friend, Leanne Horan. She goes by on Instagram, Whiskey and Grace. She's a style blogger. But one thing she always says to me is always wear your invisible crown. What does that mean? It means that when you're out and about, always remember to hold your head high and, try to hold yourself well, be kind to others, and just hold yourself together throughout all the craziness and all the madness that's going on. We all have busy, hectic, lives. But if you always wear your invisible crown and you're always being willing to help others, to listen, that's something really, you should always try to do. And just remember that in today's world, everyone is usually watching. So always try to be your best self. I know it's a challenge for all of us. If you get to me before my coffee, Lord help you, but do the best you can. Always wear that invisible crown.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I love the positive pop. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
You guys can follow us at the BosBabes on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Chris, where can everybody follow you? Because I'm sure people want to catch up with you for your upcoming pro hockey career.
Yeah, I mean, let's plug my Instagram. It's
plug it.
C Moquin. That's CMOQUIN _879. So. Maybe get a hold of it, and I'd love to have conversation with anybody.
I know Kurt's looking forward to what you're looking forward to most in Sweden.
It's going to be a completely different. It's going to be a culture change, so I can't wait to kind of live how they live over there and try to work towards another championship.
All right, well, we're excited to watch it with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks, and Brittany will be back with a special guest as I will be on my honeymoon. But we will talk with you soon. Thank you for watching.
See you guys September 23rd.